Good morning, my friend. This is Dr. Turi, and today we are February 7th. And like I do every single day when I get up, I check the tarot cards to see the energy around me. This is what I'm going to do uh, if my back and my hip allow me to. In walking the streets of Hollywood Boulevard and Beverly Hills, talking to people, making them aware that astrology is not a pseudoscience, asking questions about Nostradamus, UFOs. So it's going to be an interesting show. Uh, Planning to do this uh, in a week or so from now till I can heal a little bit better. So, yeah, what happened to me in August 31st, sudden enough, I fell out of a machine in a Marshall Island and messed up my hip and my back. But I'm a tough guy. I just turned 69, and a lot of people say, "Well, Dr. Turi, you look really young." Well, guess what? I got secret for you how to look young. A lot of things, and I intend to do this on my live channel on YouTube. There's so much you can learn from me, so it's worth it to pay attention to Dr. Turi. All right, so I got all my cards right here in front of you. I don't know. I let my subconscious lead me, and I'm gonna pull a card. Okay, and there we go. Now, it is the card. It is the devil. Who is the devil? What it means? I'll tell you what. The devil is me. It's what Christians call me. Oh, Dr. Turi is the devil. He deals with the stars. Don't get close to him because you're going to end up in hell, not knowing that they are already on hell in their own ignorance, cosmic unconsciousness, and generating fears all the time to stimulate and feed the reptilians who cannot live without those fears. Now, the devil is me, or what is symbolically chosen by Christianity to represent the evil, which is nothing else than the reptilians. So everybody would think I'm infected, and I am to a certain level. Every one of us is infected, okay? Not just the Queen of England, or Obama, or whomever is very powerful and handle money like David Icke would suggest. Somebody who has never ever seen a UFO, somebody who has never ever built up any cosmic consciousness, which is poisoning millions of people out there. Long story. Now, let's go back to this. Now, this little girl here is you, is you. Okay, so first of all, understand that I'm not the devil. Far from being the devil. All I want you to do is exactly what this little girl has to do. Take your eyes, your hands away from your eyes and face me. Delegate with me. Deal with me. Investigate me. Because all the metaphysical secrets that I have for you, okay, are actually blessings in disguise that you do not know because you have been conditioned by the religious infected matrix to fear me, to fear astrology, and you don't even know that all the popes were taught astrology by the Vatican Council. Fact. And there is a secret library under the Vatican which is loaded with work from people like me, okay, that have been hanged or burned to death or stoned to death and destroyed so that those big suckers can use the knowledge and the power for themselves. And I'm sure you have heard of J.P. Morgan, wealthiest, most powerful man on the planet once upon a time, wrote that millionaires, do not use astrology. Billionaires do. This means you have a lot to understand and to learn and to use with me. All right, now let me bring you back in time, okay? I did a TV show with Lucas on February 12th, Age of Truth. I mean, those videos are on my website, so you can go there. And if you have never heard anything about my UFOs experience, perfect. Go there, locate the banner here, and click on under the extraterrestrial pictures, and you can see the full TV show and see what I've been through. Sad enough, in this show, a lot of people complained because they said, well, you know what? He's asking you questions and either you avoid them or you can't answer them. You have to understand, guys, I am on the archetypal realm of cosmic consciousness, out there in time and space. And in a fraction of a second, I have to come back on Earth to answer Lucas' rational questions. Rational question means that affairs that dwell with this world. When I am in a different world, I'm in the superconscious, trying to dig information for you from Draco, which is, if you heard previous shows, the progressive, the benevolent extraterrestrials that entered my body on December the 12th during his solar eclipse. And during those days, there were crazy again people, David Wilcock, running on top of a mountain, preparing himself to the end of the world. Come on, please. He even thinks he is the reincarnation of Edgar Casey, and people are so gullible. Where is his predictions like I do? Where are the dates? Where are the quatrain? Where is the background? Where is the back legacy? Not only from extraterrestrial, but all the years that I spent in my life to master the 16th centuries of the great prophet Nostradamus, even though that I was born there in Provence like he did, I got nothing to do with him apart from that I was born under the same stars, and that might be what I do. But I was forced for sure. And if you listen to, again, Age of Truth television show with Lucas, you would understand what happened to me and why I studied Nostradamus. And there is much more. Oh my gosh, there is much more about what's going on here. So I was on that TV show February the 12th, and I told him, I said, Lucas, I'm going to give you 3 dates. 3 dates with 3 very specific, not 3, but a few predictions each time. Each time I gave a date, I gave 3 or 4 dates preparing for earthquakes, okay? And of course, it happened. It happened all the time, and I'm going to show it to you later. But what I'm trying to say today is, on February 3rd, the keywords for those 48 hours window, okay, I give February 3rd, but he goes before and he goes after because of the longitude and latitude of earthquakes. The countries are well ahead of us or after us, whatever it is, depending on their geographical location. So the keyword was the beginning or ending of important phases of life. And I always said, you know, when I give you a date, auto-analyze yourself, because chances are you're going to be affected by the stars. And I am not immune to the stars. Sudden enough, on that window, I lost my dear mother. So I was really, really sad. God bless you, my mom. I love you. So what I'm trying to say here is, during the same type of beginning, ending, important phases of life, Mr. David Icke got stuck in an airport and he was refused a visa to go and speak in Australia. So I'm giving you 2 very examples, okay, of 2 people that used to know each other's in the old days, okay? So always pay attention to those dates, because somewhere, somehow, you have been affected. It was the beginning or the end of important phases for all the people that were waiting for David, but they're not cosmic conscious and they are not aware. They cannot auto-analyze themselves. So when I said be ready for a beginning or ending of important phases of life, with what happened to David on that day, hundreds of thousands of people that had been infected by David, okay, suffer my predictions. Use logic, use common sense, and challenge me on that one. You can't challenge me because I know what I'm talking about, and you don't. Not now. You will, because you're not stupid. If you were stupid, you were not watching me. You would not be here because you would not vibrate at my speed. And even you being here is not an accident, my friend. You have questions, and the divine, God, your guardian angel, whatever you want, led you to listen to me on that little show today. And at the grace of God again, let's hope this one works, okay? Because I've tried to do that a few times, it didn't work, okay? So now, let's go back to February the 3rd. And again, there are people that are visual and they have a very fast UCI. UCI means a unique celestial identity. They are Mercury, which regulates the thinking, the communication, and critical thinking is fast. So they can watch and they can think and they can assimilate. But not a single human is made the same. Okay, that's why you may look like your mom and your dad or your kids, but you have nothing to do with them, and you're never going to have the same experience. You're not going to think the same or have the same fate. Understand that the UCI is your program. Okay. Now, if you have a slow UCI, you would do better. That means you are visual. You'll do better by reading. And each one, or the show that I did for David, for Lucas, excuse me, I actually wrote a newsletter that is associated with that very specific prediction because I work like Nostradamus used to do in the 16th century by giving quatrains and very obvious keywords, believe me. So the idea is to read and understand the methodology that I use instead of assuming I don't know what I'm talking about. My work is pseudoscience or neurocentric, God knows what you think. You know, I understand you so well. I mean, you've been fed for years to fear astrology or me and going to hell by the religious infected matrix. As much as you also have been indoctrinated by the scientific matrix who believe only science will give you the answers and one day Mars, we're going to leave, man going to live on Mars, which is totally ridiculous and totally impossible. Again, you might as well ask a fish, which is designed by God to live in the ocean, to come and live with us. Again, it is not designed to do this. And the distances are absolutely incredible. Okay? You cannot even live on the moon for more than 1 second, for God's sake, and it's next door. Literally, compare the million miles that separate Earth from Mars. Use logic. Those infected corporation, those scientists from the 50s, they have children, they have grandchildren, and they like to make little robots. They don't like to work like you and I. Okay, they're already in the element. It's like being the child of a famous person where all the doors open to you, or being born like President Trump with a father that leaves you with millions. Well, leave me millions and you see what I can do with my life. And this is why I'm a little bit upset with David, because David Icke would not exist if the truth seeker in San Diego did not invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to this guy. I was there with him. Jordan Maxwell, John Rappaport, we were signed up by the truth seeker in San Diego many years ago. And the guy who died, the millionaire guy who died, his own will on his deathbed hasn't been respected because all he wanted to do is to give the money to people like Jordan Maxwell and myself to fight religion. But sad enough, God bless her soul, Bonnie Lang, the director, is now passed on. Like David, she was born in April, okay? And all she wanted is this, money. And she didn't do anything with me at all. She only published one book and I didn't even have the right on it. As you say, I was young, I was stupid. So I came here with freaking $50 in my pocket. I didn't have a limousine waiting for me at the airport. I didn't have a big, huge $1 million house waiting for me. I didn't have a fat contract taking care of everything. I wonder if David Icke, okay, because we're both coming from the same country, the UK. I was in the UK for 10, 11 years. I work in a mortuary. I work in a hospital as a training nurse. I work in a restaurant. I had 3 jobs so I could pay for the Royal School of Music to learn how to play piano. I had to work overtime to come to this country. I came to the United States with $50, not hundreds of thousands. That's the difference between David Icke and me. And if I had all these hundreds of thousands of dollars put on my butt, then God knows where I would be today. But hey, guess what? God has a plan for everybody, believe me. So I understand that I had to go through all these things so I can spit the truth. Write about the truth, nothing else but the undiluted truth. So that's why you're gonna love me or you're gonna hate me. Because when you make people think like Joel Osteen or David Icke, oh, they love you. But as soon as you start to make them really think like I do and challenge everything they've been indoctrinated with, then they're gonna hate you with passion. And that's Dr. Turi. I don't know if you watched that video that was generated by uh, another very powerful conspiracy speaker. I can't remember his name now. When I channel, I'm out there and I cannot come back to remember normal things. Just sorry about that. But this guy is bold. um, John, something like that. Anyway, he absolutely not stupid. I have the link of the video in many of my articles dedicated to the truth and David Icke. If you watch the video, you will see at the end that he just completely and entirely confirmed what I know about David. Remember, David was a very close friend of mine. I used to guide him and his wife Pamela, which lived next door, by the way. She's still a good friend of mine. He used to get all my books. And being born in April, there is no way around it. Okay, it's you regenerate only through the sign of Scorpio, and that is the eighth house. That's the house of investigation, metaphysics, corporated money, life and death, anything to do with other people, money. So when you have the most powerful energy that allow you to regenerate in the sign of Scorpio, in the eighth house of metaphysics and other people, money, it's all about money. And I'm not saying this to crush David or diminish his talent as a great speaker. No, 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 no. I am not saying this. I'm just saying what I know to be truth. But some people say, wow, but he was born at the end of April. He's a Taurus. We're pretty much like Hitler, okay? He's just born a few days away from Hitler. And, you know, and a lot of people who have manipulated the system may make billions on the ass of other people because they don't have any critical thinking or whatever. What I'm trying to say here is Hitler, first of all, supposed to be a Taurus ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Hitler was far from being either beautiful or loving, okay? He was a Scorpio in his eighth house, and that means power, 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 money, 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 investigation, things under the table, lying, cheating, okay? And then the beauty of forensic astrology is that it allows me to bypass the limitation of the five human senses and then go down to the core, to the soul of every single matter and every single human's affair. You know, I don't have fun really exposing some of the people that I knew in the past or whomever. You know, that's what I do. That's my job. You cannot expect less than the undiluted truth with me. The point is, are you going to be able to delegate, digest, and accept the truth? That is where the problem is. Okay, I don't have any problem to say it, and then you have to start to think. Okay, all right. Now let's go back to the date of February 3rd, where I lost my dear mother, and a new life started for millions of people and for David Icke. Now, I'm going to show you something. When I said to Lucas, be ready for earthquake at or above 6.0, okay? And on the same timing, and I did it in every one of the shows that I did, and I will keep doing it on Coast to Coast, which is coming up very soon, and other radio shows that are coming up that I have to do. So you could check my claim. So when I say be ready for an earthquake, and then the next thing you see, okay, is a 6.0 that takes place in Japan, or a 7.0 magnitude quake that takes place in Peru, excuse me, how can you deny the truth? Okay. Now, another thing. I also mentioned to Lucas to be ready for anything and everything that dwelt with the universe or science or anything else, like my quatrain mentioned. And then look what happened. SpaceX Crew Dragon launches, okay, on that day. And then also, I say, be ready for weird news. Do you think it's every single day that a 88-year-old woman get killed by a bunch of dogs? No, it's not every day, because animals, like people, are also under the jurisdictions of the stars, and that they control the stars and make those animals going crazy. If you look at all the news, my gosh, how can you deny the fact? Read, you can read, okay? There is so much more. All you've got to do is go to my website, dr.turi.com, locate the February 3rd uh, uh, prediction, click on it. It's a live link. Click on it, okay? And then you are going to read a lot of things that confirm that shocking, explosive, disrupting, original, out of this world, mind-boggling type of energy that I'm trying to describe through my quatrain and my more than obvious keywords. Remember, Nostradamus used to do the same thing that I did, with the only difference that Nostradamus had to be very careful and very blurry in his quatrain that for many people do not make sense. And Nostradamus did not use keywords, far from that. So I upgrade his work to our century, because I don't have to fear the Inquisition anymore. I'm not going to end up being burned on the stake by a bunch of religious infected religious fanatics, put it this way. Okay, it is important to understand. I am here to help you. I am not here to hurt you or to bash the people that I knew in my past that we were very close because I'm jealous. No. What I'm mad at is, first of all, there is no way for Davic Icke to turn around because his topic is very negative to start with. You cannot be a conspiracy talking head and have good things to say. But if you have to say something, which I support, gosh, I support the free speech amendment, okay? And I'm sorry for David. At least give a solution, give a way out to people. Because conspiracy, you like it or not, you know it or not, are damn real. And I've been myself victimized a few times. But hey, it just happened to David to be banned. I've been banned all my life from all major networking websites. I'm even seriously diminished to whatever I can do on Facebook or my most in-demand page, which is I Am Aliens. Over 10,000 people have signed up. I cannot go there anymore, edit or post, because now I start to attract too much attention, pretty much like LinkedIn. LinkedIn, the same story. The vice president wrote me an email, you can read it, saying that I was one of the top 5% page for people to read because they love what I had to say. But when I start to get big and expose some of their big guys who spend millions with them to get hits, okay, then I got fired. There's no chance of coming back to LinkedIn. Same thing happened to me with Google, who removed tons of my old articles. So I still have the news one. Or Wikipedia, for that matter. Wikipedia, you can Wikipedia Dr. Turi, you're going to find a page, but you're not going to find me. They removed me 2 or 3 times because they say that my predictions are not happening, that I am a false, that I am a con artist, that I don't play piano, that whatever. So if you can start a page and you really trust me, please go on Wikipedia and then help me to start to put me back on Wikipedia, okay? If you like me, if you realize I'm real and I have something very important to offer to the world, hey, help Dr. Turi, because I need it. Sad enough, there are a lot of people out there that you listen to, okay? And as always says, those who are supposed to be the experts are the least knowledgeable to what they talk about. Okay, We could take the example of Wilcock, for example, David Wilcock, another David. Okay, now, first of all, David Wilcock was born with a lot of money, so he can advertise left and right and buy in place. And because he's logical and because he's rational, he's more of a scientist. He's mixing and mingling his imagination, his creativity with science, so to speak. So people can understand him. They don't have to work as hard to understand David Icke or David Wilcox. But when it comes to me, you gotta own a very advanced UCI or very unique mind that allows you to enter into the divine and decipher what I do. Because what I do, you have to work. David Icke and David Wilcox, you sit back, you relax, and you listen, and you get yourself being infected and hypnotized, whatever. So just be aware. Okay, when he says, "Oh well, I am the reincarnation of another big prophet," okay. I even look like this big prophet. It's important to realize that I did the stars of not only David Icke, but David Wilcox. And you cannot compare him with any prophet of the past. To be born, to be a prophet, you've got to have the tools. Like Michael Jackson, to be born a great singer, a great dancer. You don't teach Michael Jackson how to dance and sing. He had the gift. Okay. Edgar Cayce, Madame Blavatsky, Nostradamus. These are real prophets, and the three of them have something in common. That is the head of the dragon into the sign of Pisces, which rules the subconscious, the superconscious, vision, the psychic world, spirituality. Okay, while David Wilcox doesn't have the head, he's got the tail of the dragon in Pisces. That's very different. He's much more of a scientist talking about technology that makes sense to his rational than dwelling with the supreme intuitive psychic energy of Pisces, like real prophets who were born with that dragon have. And again, it's interesting because I always say, I'm not a psychic. It's not what my mother used to say. My mother used to say, "You're much more of a psychic than what you can ever, believe, my son." God bless your soul, mother. But it's you need to, if I can understand something and offer you the proof of it, I'm not going to be talking about. So I asked Aloran Software in Los Angeles to kind of upgrade my astrological software. And I said, make it in a way that it resembles Nostradamus' work 500 years ago, knowing the great prophet during those days didn't have a watch or a computer. So the way I dwell with divine astrology is supremely objective. I use symbolism, I use intuition, I use my stars, I use my God-given gift. And that's what allows me to reach people. And you're going to have the proof of that when I start to do reading live with people and do tarot like I just did earlier in Hollywood Boulevard, wherever I'm going to go doing. I'm going to be doing some psychic things that you're going to be blown away. You're going to see the difference between real and false once this is done. So we are at that point where I really want you to understand that God do not speak to fools. And I'm not telling you you're a fool. Don't take it personally. I'm not telling you you're a fool. I'm telling you what I know to be truth. God speaks through his design and through the sign. And God created the stars and the heavens for more than the sake of beauty. He gave them to us for interpretation so that we may lead a safer and more productive life. Understand that. So unless you go under those stars, like I am right now, unless you go under those stars, how can you go above? So you have to go under the stars, stand under those stars, so you can understand the true magical divine design of the creator and how you interact with it. Now, your mind is nothing else than a computer. fleshy computer encased in a bony head, so it protects it, okay? But there is no difference between your mind, the one of Einstein, mine, or a killer. It's exactly the same weight, the same density. What's different is even the same wiring, but what's different is the program, the UCI, the unique celestial identity that makes you who you are, a very unique human being that are going to go, if the issue is rational and logical, into science, into politics, or into conspiracy, or into my work if you're more of a spiritually inclined soul. Now, you need to understand you were born on this dense physical world to learn how to create. And this is why I always say to my students to never forget that the future is nothing else than the reincarnations of your thoughts. So, this being said, you're here as a God in training on this dense physical world, okay? And you're learning to create your thought and to create your environment, okay? Think, what was the computer you're looking at me now, okay, and learning with me right now? What was this computer 50 years ago? It didn't exist. All right. What about the car you're driving? What was your car 50 years ago, 100 years ago? Didn't exist. No, let's go further. What was Los Angeles, Paris, New York 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago? It didn't exist. We, human beings, by the grace of God and the blessing of the Creator, we have created it all. So you are in charge of your destiny. And once you die, first of all, you have to die first. When the doctor comes along and cut the umbilical cord that connects you with the warm uterine life of your mother, bless your mom for giving me life. You died. You died to that life. And at that very moment, a smack on your bottom, call of the room, noise in the room, you're waking up. You're getting another umbilical cord from the universal mind, from your karma, from what you deserve, from what you have chosen before you reintegrate yourself here, because nobody can escape karma. And then you inherit all your blessings, you inherit all your sins and virtues. It's a program. You have a program. I can read it. Science and religion won't let you know. They don't know, or they don't want you to know. They control the information. That's real conspiracy. And I'm giving you the solution. And like Davic Icke would do, take it from me, learn from me, because I know it and I can give it to you like any of my students. Which means you can do exactly what I do. You can make predictions. You can read people if you educate yourself. It's all about education. Knowledge is power. Ignorance is evil. So once you die, you're going in paradise, and almost immediately, because your senses are incredibly different, okay, you're going to be able to create your reality almost instantly. So let's say you have been raised Christians, you're going to end up in the cloud and you're going to see the devil, oh my gosh, and he's going to come and he's going to kill you. You're going to be dying. And then he's going to leave. And then you're going to look up and say, oh, I'm not dead yet. And the devil look at you again at you, oh, he's not dead. He's coming back. And he's going to plunge that very sharp fork in your abdomen again. And you're going to go through hell in pain because you're going to feel it because you created it. Okay, now you're going to do this a few times. And each time the devil's coming back and killing you. Oh, you cannot do all the thing all the time. Something is wrong here. So you're going to start to challenge and start to demand to control your thought. And then you'll realize that you are actually in a world of omnipresence where your reality takes place immediately, because this is where you're coming back to God. You're coming back to you because you were made in the image of God. There is no way around it. You have inherited the same power than God himself. But God is too big to come down here. So he kind of he's got like a ramification. Each one of my fingers is a million of a human being. It's too big. You're too big to come down here. So you send a little piece of yourself. And each time you go back home, you get stronger, wiser, bigger, and it's forever. But you don't have to come back here if you don't like this world. If you're smart enough and you've learned all your lessons, you don't have to come back. Let's say, for example, you're very heavy racist, okay, and you're hurt and you do everything you can because you're damn racist, you haven't grown up, okay? So what happened is when you die, okay, nobody but you or God judge yourself, and you cannot avoid karma. You cannot lie to yourself like Trump does all the time. You can't do that. No, you can't. So what happened is you say, okay, the best way for me to learn what is to be a racist, what is to be born a black person, um, being born in Africa, destitute, and there is no time and space. Let's go back in the 50s, in the 40s, the 30s, the 60s, when all those people were literally harassed to death by a bunch of ignorant suckers, infected idiots who have no idea that being racist is a disease induced by the reptilians. Now, the reptilians are responsible for a lot of things. They stimulate the mind of all the scientists in the 50s to develop nukes, armaments that can kill more and more people, poisonous gas, and so forth. While the very benevolent draconists, which are the gardeners of this world, they create technology to heal yourself if you burn yourself, to fix your eyes, your heart. Understand that without these two forces, there is no life. Positive, negative, up and down, black and white, the front, the back, God, devil, the yin and yang, male, female, day, night, two eyes, two hands, two sides of the brain. Understand that without the devil, there is no God. Without the reptilians, there would be no draconists, but they don't have to stay in the same solar system. The draconists travel in time and space, as Draco shot through me. They go through black holes, and then they have stations like Pluto. Pluto is a station for the reptilians, while the Bermuda Triangle is more a refueling station because it cannot stay on Earth too much. But it's accelerating within the age of Aquarius. Everything is accelerating drastically, accelerating incredibly to the point where the extraterrestrial won't have to use the Uranic windows to come and visit us, because antimatter don't agree. They will be able to speak to us, to come to us once we accept it and raise into the creativity of creating them alive, so to speak. There's so much you have to digest, so much you have to know. And you know what? In a few days, I'm going to be doing a live YouTube show again. If you're interested in what I have to say, just sign up to my YouTube channel and let's keep going, because I have prediction. I got to teach you how to stay young. I got to teach you how to heal yourself naturally, like Nostradamus did. And then if you really, really want to know what's going on and let me heal you on a personal level, there is only two ways. It's either you join me in Sedona, either you join me in LA, in San Francisco, in San Diego, Las Vegas, where I'm going to be doing some conference once I heal up. Or maybe you should join us when I do that cruise with some top UFO speakers, because those guys have had a lot of interesting things to say. The point is, the difference between all these very famous UFO speakers and Dr. Turi is that I don't think many of them have seen a UFO or are dedicating an extraterrestrial psychically. So understand again, okay? There is a very thin hair between divine cosmic information and pure imagination. And that's what you get with me, the undeleted truth. Something that will force you out of the box you've been stuck in because you have been fed the same thing for years by someone you love and trust. And that's why you are hating me, because I forced you out of this box. Now good. I don't know if you really should hate me when I call you a god. Well, I tell you, you have absolutely control of everything. You start by yourself and controlling your thoughts. It's how it is. You know, every very famous people out there are infected. And if you look at the news currently, now they're talking about removing Michael Jackson in every radio station, statues at Disneyland, because he abused kids. But he's not the only one. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein. Anytime you reach fame, anytime you reach a certain level of power and control, greed's kicking. And that is what the reptilians use. And did Michael Jackson did what he did? Well, I did his stars, and sudden enough he did. I can only say the truth for all of you that love Michael Jackson, and I love Michael Jackson too because I grew up with his music. But I'm here to tell you the undiluted truth, and now you have to digest it. Doesn't mean you don't have to love his music, because I still listen to him. But when you reach and powerful, greed comes in. That's why President Trump, which is obviously infected up here, it's obvious, okay, will pay the ultimate price, because it will be because of money, and he's delegating under the table that will kill him, so to speak, and his family and his corporations. And his legacy, I don't know, but I have a bad feeling that if you do not help me, his legacy of racism will kill a lot of people. It's just the beginning, people. You better pay attention. It's just the beginning. You know, when you elect a president, you got to leave his fate, and his fate is, especially the United States of America, the president is the most powerful man on the planet. So his legacy just repercutes like you throw a stone in the water, he goes everywhere. And the fact is now there is more and more racism everywhere, and that's going to be nasty before it is fixed. But the reptilians are in charge of him, and the draconists who respect the law, it cannot interfere with humans' affairs. Like the reptilians don't care. Okay, they create ISIS and they interfere with human beings. They do all sorts of nasty things to us psychically. Okay, and they can operate in the body and the womb of a woman, of a mother who smokes too much, who does too much drink, pot, God knows what, and mess up a fetus by creating the child either with autism, with Down syndrome, or gay or lesbian. And I have nothing to blame. I have, my best friends are gays and lesbian, and every one of them smoke pot. I don't. It's your decision. So all these diseases are induced by those entities who manipulate the genes of human beings before, during, and even after conception through all sorts of abduction. But again, nobody has or will ever change into a lizard. And sudden enough, even the queen, if you look at her racist attitude, is infected, but not because she's turning into a reptilian at midnight. No, it's because psychically she's a racist, and she doesn't like the brown skin in the palace in the UK because it's against their tradition, or what Davic Icke would call their bloodline. My gosh, there's such an amount of ignorance out there. But it took me 69 years of my life of independent study, away from anything that could disturb my focus in delegating only the truth, so that I can help you. You know, everything that happened with the Queen, with all these corporations that are going belly up, man, I saw that well before all this happened. All you got to do is go to dr.turi.com and click on the Nostradamus 2019 forecast. Most of all, read your forecast. What do I have to say about you? And don't tell me you don't have $10. That's why I put my price all the way down so you can afford it. It used to be $30. I bought it for $10. So you can judge and see and reading and say, oh my gosh, you're going to see the date of my prediction when I've published it. And you're going to jump into the future. So you're going to appreciate your little ebook much, much more when you get to read it and pay attention to my predictions. Because I don't see a good thing. You know, it's pretty much like the wise German people electing Hitler, and see what he did. What he did to the world. Anytime you elect a person, or you're under the jurisdiction of a person, you are going to suffer his fate. That's wow, it is. This is how the reptilians put those people in power, including Davic Icke and Wilcock. Now the draconists are doing all they can to put me in the position of power so I can clear up the damage and start to educate you. And you start with yourself. It's a choice. It's a choice. You have to learn to be positive, which is the hardest thing to do. You have to learn not to poison yourself. So you add years to your physical anatomy like I do. I'm 69 years old and I never touch pot. But I touch opium. Ah, Dr. Turi! Yeah, by accident. I was playing drums. Next to me, there was this big huge Indian guy, big beard, and he was smoking opium. I didn't know. I was barely 19. And I was going like this with my kick. And the secondhand smoke, I had millions of colors coming out of my mouth. Whoa! Whoa! What is that? Oh my God! I was just like, Then I said, okay, okay. The song finished, and I went outside. The freaking trees were giving me reverence, and everything was gold. On that day, when I came back, and this guy went like this, hey, do you want a puff? I look at him. In a second, I thought, if I take one puff, I will never ever stop, and I will die. And I was strong enough to refuse it. Then I smoked pot to please some of my friends because I want to be part of the clan. So again, I lied. I didn't smoke. He nailed, and they gave me suppository to put in my butt. And I went in the bathroom like everybody else did, and I put it in there. I didn't put it in my ass. So you know what? A magnet will attract a piece of wood. If you're truth, you can only attract the truth. If you're clean, you can only attract health. Use common sense. Okay. And in my conferences, in my cruise, I will do reading, I will do healing, I will hypnotize people to tap on the superconscious day. You got so much to learn from me. Okay. And at 69, I deserve it because I learned it all on my own. And nobody was behind me to give me hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I wasn't born with 10 gold spoons in my mouth like other speakers that you listen. Do your homework. Do your homework, people. Because ultimately, I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to support you. And I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast. So by offering you the truth, I regenerate, because wherever you have Scorpio in your chart, you regenerate. I'm a Scorpio when I teach, when I travel, when I educate people. I'm a Scorpio on foreign ground. That's where I kill people. Scorpio is death, and I rebirth people to a higher level into the eagle of supreme wisdom. Where is your Pluto? Where is Saturn, the great malefic, the one who's going to make your life misery? Man, if you want to know that, you have to see me on Skype, or you have to order a reading or something. But it's well worth to know what God has planned for your destiny. You know, I did a radio show couple nights ago with Dr. G. Oh, you've got to listen to that show. Um, Dr. G, unlike other radio or TV hosts, is absolutely spiritual, and I connect with this man. Dr. G and dr.turi, Dr. G, Dr. T. It's just like a nuclear bomb of very valuable information. So please go and listen to that show that I did with him. And if you like what I'm talking about, you join me in a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, on the 10th, I believe, at 5 o'clock on my YouTube channel. And we can keep that discussion. I can tell you all sorts of things that you probably and surely will enjoy. Until then, hey, I want to take this opportunity to thank you. I hope this video works. I find out. And one more time, God bless all of you. God bless all of you, my dear friends. To me, you're like children. Bye-bye.